first day in pads, so we had a new added element today to practice, and for us, and I told the kids, we'll be in pads virtually every day from now until game week. So it's something that they got to adapt to, and that means we're either thud or live as far as our tempos throughout much of practice. So now you had the physicality added in today, and the thing you got to work on now is building on the fundamentals while incorporating in contact. So I thought there was good and bad to practice today. I thought there were some guys that made some strides, and there were some areas that we really need to continue to improve on. And I think a lot of our deficiencies are carryovers from the spring, as far as fundamental things that we have to improve on as a team. So overall, I think it was a good day, but certainly one that we've got to build on drastically before tomorrow. I expect us to have a much better practice tomorrow.
Coach, you mentioned the team saw strides today. What are some of those strides that you saw in practice?
Well, I thought the offensive line continued to come along, and you incorporated in contact. And I thought we had a pretty solid first day up front, and I think that was evident during the team period. And we had, just some real solid execution right there with contact added in. So I thought that was a big positive. One, I think, bright spot of the, 3 days in has been Kendall Futrell. He's a guy that was not with us in the spring because of injury, but certainly he's been impressive the first 3 days with some of the plays he's made. And his athleticism, along with, he's played pretty hard snap after snap, and I think that senior leadership's been important for us.
Coach, for 3 years, this team has passed the football. Trying to run a little bit more this year. I mean, is it hard to build some physicality?
Well, I think it's about hard to build. I think it's a drastic change. We are going to be a very balanced attack. We're going to throw the ball, and I think that we've got some weapons to do that with. But we're also going to be able to run the football. Again, I think we've got some backs that are doing some solid things. I think Darius has had a good start to the preseason. I think the freshman Mooney has had a solid start to the preseason. So, we look to be a very balanced football team on offense.
How are the quarterbacks affected by putting the pads on? I know they're not hit, but receivers and that kind of thing.
Well, I think that's only going to enhance their abilities. Certainly Holton is a legitimate dual threat guy, but Reed is actually faster as far as straight line speed, and I think that them having pads on and everybody else having pads on makes it more realistic, more game-like. You saw the competition ramp up a little bit with the pads added in today, and certainly the execution has to be better when that happens.
You've been able to build programs at every chance that you've taken. What does it take to build a program? What's some key ingredients to build programs?
Well, I think it starts with your roster and then developing your roster. And I think having chemistry within the coaching staff is important, and then you're building that continuity and confidence throughout your roster. So it's something that doesn't happen overnight, but each day we're looking to better our roster. Recruiting for next year is going very, very well. We're going to have an addition to our roster this year, so we're constantly trying to upgrade our personnel, and then developing that personnel is important. I think that our chemistry off the field is continuing to improve. Yesterday was an off day, but we had several team activities yesterday. Had a worship service yesterday morning that the vast majority of our team attended, and I think that's a bonding experience. And then we had bowling last night, which some was good and some was bad with that. Don't quit your day jobs, what I'd tell most of them, but they had a good time. So I think building that chemistry in the locker room is always critical to building a program.
Coach, day one out here, you spoke about how you were unhappy with guys playing at practice speed.
Right.
How did the team respond to that message?
I thought they responded well, and I think that probably some of the older players took it personally because it was directed at them. But I'm a firm believer that your practice habits are going to be your game habits, and so if you wait until game day to try to play at game speed, you're not going to be as good as you can be. And so that's my challenge to them, is every single day, trying to play at game speed. If we're going to become a great tackling football team, which we've been able to do that, everywhere I've been, we've got to learn how to play at game speed and then execute thud tackles or live tackles at that game speed. But if we're less than that, if we're 3/4 or whatever, then you're not going to be ready for the speed on game day. So I think that's a critical component. But I thought they responded well day two. I thought there was some good and bad today. I think that's what happens when you incorporate in contact.
You talked about trying to get game ready with the offensive line. How game ready do you think they are, especially the right side with some new starters?
Well, 3 days in, I don't know. First day of contact, I don't think we're ready yet. I do think that we're improved over what we were in the spring. And I think a lot of that comes from knowing the system better, having more time with Coach Shankweiler. Even though we didn't have pads all summer, we still had those coach sessions where we worked a lot of the footwork and fundamentals. And I think that you're seeing a lot of that carry over to the beginning of fall camp. So I think I would expect our offensive line to continue to improve each and every day. The right side, I think we've got a lot of competition. We got competition on the left side. But I think you're going to see us continue to improve throughout camp, and we'll find out August 31st, just where we are, because it'll be the first time we'll go against somebody else.